Welcome to Extra Impact. This is just a little addition to what we do normally. These are interviews that I really want to relive and I want to get to you, but we have a 2 hour limit to do our show for streaming purposes. So these are shows that we make additions to. Once again, introducing some great people and reliving some wonderful interviews. Uh, this show, I'm first before I get started, I want to bring attention to you the QR code up in the corner. If you would like to join us at any point in time, please use that QR code. Let us know what you need to talk about, and we'll try to find some space for you. Okay. Our first guest on this Extra Impact is a really great guy, wonderful, wonderful person, just a caring individual. And he's, you know, working hard after a hard beginning. He's working hard to make life better and make life better for everyone around him. And Ricky has joined the program, and he is one of our wonderful partners. And I am thrilled to bring back this wonderful interview with Mr. Ricky Birkenstock of Ricky Birkenstock Coaching. Joining me now is a partner of mine. I met Ricky a couple weeks ago. We sat down, we had a wonderful conversation. A lot of things are similar. Of course, there's quite a gap in age here, but but still, there's a lot of similarities in it, and the heart that shows through on Ricky was one of the things that I absolutely loved the most. Ricky started Ricky Birkenstock's coaching, and he is in a very familiar area to me in Fort Collins, Colorado. So I'd like to welcome to the show Ricky Birkenstock. How are you doing, brother?
Thank you, Zach. I'm doing very well, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
You know, you started you started coaching after you realized your life was in trouble with the path that you were going, and you realized that you had so much more to offer people.
Mm, yes, yeah. I think to shine a clearer light on that, it was coaching was a side effect of the transformations that I was creating in my own life. And as you know, Zach, and we'll share with the audience, I was involved with gang activity, drug life, and then I found myself in jail. And so when I found myself in jail, that was really the turning point of my life where I finally took responsibility. And I said, okay, so I created this. And this was, I will freely say, below what I ever thought would be my worst case scenario. So we could say that I smacked my rock bottom. And after smacking that rock bottom and saying, okay, well, if I can create this, then I ought to be able to create something pretty fantastic. And I think I owe that to myself. So after getting my head screwed on straight and living life one step at a time for quite a while, I started to see that there were patterns and there were ways that I was changing my life that I could see benefiting other people. And then I started studying the art of coaching and helping people transform their lives, testing on myself, testing around others, and then getting a more broad approach to impact people and see them take their lives from maybe not everyone is in that place of a deep level of pain that we understand, but maybe they just want to see some tweaks, some changes in their lives. And change is hard for anyone. So being able to help get that change rolling and moving and make it sustainable is something that I do. I take a lot of pride and joy in being able to do.
Let me ask you a question here on something you said. You mentioned that I put myself in this situation. How hard was it to break the thought that I'm in this situation because this is the way that my environment is, instead of, how hard was it to break from being there? Because we know that when we all get in trouble, our first thought is, well, this is what you made me, or this is, this is how I grew up, or this is my situation. To move it to, I put myself here. This is my fault. How difficult was that for you?
That's a great question, Zach. And because I like to lead with I call it a more naked approach. I'll tell you, man, I'm human. So my first reaction was not, hey, I put myself here. My first reaction had, some profanity and some victimhood tied into it. But you know, the realization really encapsulates the idea that life is a combination of choices. At each point, each fork in our road, we can choose left, we can choose right, and life isn't so black and white, but we can simplify it to that. And I had the option to either say, this is not my fault. This is because something unfair was done to me. And I also had the choice to say, well, if I want to be the creator of my life, then I have to start taking responsibility. If I want to see myself empowered, living my best life, I can't sit here and look at other people because it's my actions that put me in this position. It wasn't theirs. It was just lucky timing that things happened, whatever it was. And it was that choice to empower myself. And sometimes empowering ourselves is a very painful thing because it does mean taking responsibility. It means this is on me and my future is on me. And once we make that decision, now we can create, now we can move forward.
It was a bad choice. It wasn't a uh, mistake. You know, you didn't make a mistake. You made a choice, and that's one of the things that I try to tell. When I get to talk to like the foster kids and everything, is like, look,
Mm,
when you do something that you know is not right, that's not a mistake. It's a bad choice. Bad choices are made throughout your life. You're going to make different you're going to make choices that are wrong throughout your life. It really depends on you on which ones you make, I mean, there's a difference between, oh, I should have made a left instead of a right.
mm,
I knew I should have made a left, but I didn't. Or, oh, I'm going to take and swallow these additional pills and nothing's, it won't hurt me. I'm
mm.
Ironside. What do you Is that message anything that you try to give to people? Is that one of the messages you try to get across, or am I on a different path here than you are?
Zach, I love the deep wisdoms that come out of you. And the reason I point that out is because you often say something about how you're not a smart man, yet every conversation we have, I sit here saying, you son of a gun, you are brilliant, man, because this is an ancient wisdom. No matter what spiritual background you have, no matter what your belief system, we can all see the relationship of cause and effect. And if we focus on cause and effect, there is no such thing as a mistake. To every action, there is a reaction.
Yeah.
And just like you said, so you choose this route, there will be an outcome. Our thoughts, our beliefs typically lead to our behaviors, and our behaviors will ultimately lead to our results. So that is a model that I teach all the time. And it really shines a light on exactly what you're saying there, that there's no such thing as a mistake. This is a culmination of your choices, of your behaviors and your actions. And every action creates a result.
I'm going to tell you something. We've got a lot of partners that have been coming in lately that have resonated with me. And the conversations with these partners, such as yourself, has just gotten so much deeper and so much, I really love that we're able to discuss things on a one-on-one level because of the similarities, but because of the moral path that
Mm,
I think that we find ourselves on. We're going to have our differences. We're definitely going to have our differences. That's not a problem. We don't really focus on differences, which is one of the problems that I see in the world today is everybody's focused on the differences when what we can do is we can sit down and we can focus on reality, the the way to fix something, and the best way to come about it. Um, when you approach something, Ricky, what is the first thing that you want to tell them in your coaching? And why don't we start with explain your coaching to people, and then we'll circle back around to what's the first thing that you try to tell somebody when you first start coaching them.
Mm. I think there's a great way to meld the two questions into one, because what any of my clients would tell you is, um, there's a general state of misunderstanding when it comes to how to coach, how to affect change, how to help people transform their lives effectively. And a lot of it boils down to, I don't tell someone to do anything.
Hmm.
And it's my mission to share with the person in front of me that all they need is already inside of them. And one of the things that I try to do, or that I do in my coaching, is create a safe space. So within that safe space, everything can be discussed. We can put everything on the table, take all the armor off. And then B, I know how to turn myself into a magnet to pull the greatness out of the person in front of me. And we do that through questions. And that's why the approach looks different with every client, but essentially it's really session after session, powerful questions, deep conversation, shedding light and awareness on certain areas, certain patterns, and gaining that clarity that they need to continue moving forward. And sometimes that's super simple, and other times it gets really deep, and there's traumas brought up, and there's healing to be done. And that's why I never like to put. That's why I call it deep coaching, because it's kind of like, if I've never done this myself, but I imagine it's kind of like scuba diving, where you find a new place to go diving, and you find new things down there,
Yeah.
and maybe sometimes you find the treasure closer to the top, and other times you have to go deeper. And there's no right or wrong to that. It's every process is unique. Each session is unique. So I guess I could call myself a professional, emotional, mental life diver. And I take my clients along that journey with me. We're on that together.
I like that, because using the diving metaphor, you change your coaching with the person, because not only can you maybe find the treasure up top, who's to say what someone's going to find as the treasure? Maybe someone's going to seeing their first ever, their first ever blue coral is their treasure. That's what they wanted to see. Or maybe, the tuna is the first, that's what they wanted to see. That's their treasure
Mhm.
in life. It doesn't always have to be gold. It doesn't always have to be silver ingots. It can be something so much deeper. And so, but you do make sure that you individualize. It's not all, you're not going to sit in a room with 30,000 people and tell everyone this is how you do it, right? It's got to be
That's
different. It's got to be, because you know what? In those 30,000 people, you're not going to have 30,000 successes if they
mm,
follow your way, because
mm,
you've got 30,000 different people with different goals, with different abilities, with different, it's difference. We sh- we can't treat everyone the same. Everyone has got to be treated individually. And because every single one of us is individual, right?
mhm,
So when what is the most important thing that people need to know?
mm. I love that question, because if, let's transpose ourselves in front of, say, a million people right now. There is no one, uh, you could say, panacea cure for everything, but there are principles. And the number one principle I want any listener to know is that the answers already lie within them. They are the key. They are the one that they've been looking for. And the beautiful fact underlying all this individuality, all this uniqueness, the power that exists within each human being is them being themselves. Zach, the world needs Zach Clayton to be Zach Clayton, not Zach to be Ricky. If I'm sitting here trying to reprogram you into me, we're not doing anybody any good. But to help you become more of yourself, to bring your authenticity, your gifts to the surface and learn how to live into those, oh, there's nothing more beautiful than that. And
Thank
that
God,
is,
I'd have a lot of work to do just body style to get to be a Ricky, you know, because you know, you're shaped with hard work and dedication. I'm shaped with donuts. So, look, you know, again, that's where you and we can talk. I swear to God, we could probably talk every day for hours, and never talk about the same thing twice, because there is, you know, I love the fact that the individual is something that's so important to me, because I think, and of course this is my own opinion, but I think anybody trying to be someone else, like you just said, I think that's dangerous, because you're not someone else. You need to find your own way. You need to use your own brain. You know, I used to think that one of the greatest gifts God ever gave us was our own opinion. Now I'm kind of worried about that at certain times, but I'll change that. The greatest thing that God ever gave us was our own ability to make our own decisions, you know. And look, we can do, there's not a single person out there who can't do miraculous things. And you just, like you said, you have to find it. You have to be true to you, because you can't be true to someone else if you're not true to yourself, right? What is the first, I guess what I want to know is, what was the first question you asked yourself when you were in that defining moment? What was that first question you said, okay, Ricky, blank? What was that question?
I love to share this question because whether it was some form of, well, I guess if I'm going to tell other people that the answers lie within them, then I should share how the answer was within me. So it's not fair to say I don't know where it came from. The question just kind of bubbled up through those of us who know, every person knows pain. So you know when you're in that deep place of pain and that there's like this dark void that lives in your center and it feels all consuming. If we stop running away from that and we allow this feeling to shed a light on something, the light that this feeling shed was on the question that said, does this serve me? And this question has such a massive ripple effect. And my first focus was actually, I mean, it was something that came so naturally to apply it to the way I thought. I just started applying it to my thinking, to my beliefs. I'd think something, and it'd get me all worked up because I was in this cycle of, I had been, we talked about this, Zach, being diagnosed with depression at early ages and put on antidepressants. And I hope you don't mind me sharing that. I'm sure you've
Oh
shared it.
no, please do, please.
But it's such a disempowering thing to have that happen to you. And then we all take these thoughts, these beliefs into our adulthood and the way we live our lives, whether they're our parents' beliefs or our friends or at this point in time, any number of social media influencers. Why do I think this way? Why do I believe this way? Boils down to, does this serve me? It doesn't really matter if it does serve you. If it makes your life better, if it helps you improve the lives of other people, I don't care where it comes from. But where I was, almost everything in my life did not serve me. So it was a very simple question of, does this serve me? No. Well, then how can I change this? How can I reframe this? How can I shift this, transform it into something that does serve me?
You know, I wonder, I wonder, you were in as you mentioned before, you were in a position where drugs were a huge part of what you were doing. And, you know, with drugs comes a lot of money. How was it that you said to yourself, you know what, this is something that serves me great right now financially, but this isn't, you know, and I say this knowing that a a young man that I have cared for a long, 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 long time.
Mm,
Um, after I mean, and we lost contact quite a while ago, and one of his goals in life, I found out later in life, one of his goals in life was to be the American version of one of the drug kingpins, you know, and it's like, oh my God, what happened there, you know? And how was it that you decided, okay, look, this may serve me, you know, great financially now, but is financial everything? One, and two, this can't last. It ain't gonna last. This isn't, you know, and because we know, and this is another thing that I'm a little unclear on how you made that decision, because we know that a lot of times these young kids today see that prison sentence almost as a badge of honor sometimes. You know, they see it as their education even.
mm,
How do we get them to make the step that you made? What do we need to do as adults who care? I'm not saying as a general public, because they don't give a damn about the general public. How do we change their mind about adults who care about them? They are our first responsibility.
mm. This is a very powerful question, Zach. The There is no one answer. This is complex. So as we talk about from the beginning of this interview to now, an individual by individual basis is definitely important. Just showing people that you care, that you're there, that you're open to listening, and asking them these questions. So principally, what I would say is leading by example is one of the best things you can absolutely do. A lot of us were raised in environments where people live with a martyr syndrome, which is where, like, yes, this is so hard, and yes, everything I do is so hard, but it gives you some sense of righteousness. And no kid wants to see that. And that's no way to live your life either. I mean,
Yeah.
um, we we all find role models, and we all find things to look up to. I understand that way of thinking very deeply. My role models from the beginning were rappers, and that's why I was living my life the way I was. I thought it was awesome, and then there was a degree of some sort of twisted pride that came from being able to say that I had been locked up. And that question of does this serve me runs so deeply that if one really gives themselves the time to ask this question, you can see why you want this thing. I mean, is it really going to make your life better and the lives around you? Why do you have this desire to do this thing? So, creating the space to ask the powerful questions and to ask these kids, why do you feel this way? Where does this come from? And then to teach them, because it was a revolutionary thought to me when I first said to myself, I can create my life. I do create my life. Kids need to know that. I mean, they're these beautiful, clean slates that can choose to, and I'm going to say this because I believe this deeply, that whether or not you choose to, we are all brainwashing ourselves. The books we read, the media we watch, what we consume, we're feeding our brains. We all have a mental diet. And if you take a child and you put them in an environment where they're given the mental diet of empowerment, and empowerment is it's not a thing, it's not a tool. Empowerment is a feeling. And it's a feeling that is a result of getting the tools, the support, and the general guidance and vision necessary to succeed. We give children these resources, oh my gosh, and show them that there are results that come from this. If we can tie the cause and effect principle into a child's mind where they understand what I do has results. I want this outcome. For me, I wanted, you know, there's a type of Rolex that uses a meteorite as the disc, as the dial. And I used to always say, I want a meteor on my wrist. Like that would be awesome. And I want a Ferrari. And have you ever sat in a Ferrari, Zach?
Oh no, I couldn't fit in a Ferrari if I tried. I you know, I tried to sit in a PT Cruiser at one point in time, and I had to. I seriously looked like Fred Flintstone and Dino, where I had to open the sunroof because my head was like way the hell up here. I mean, it did. I looked like this when I was driving. I had to like lean down to see the you know. No, I couldn't. Oh man, I would feel like I was falling for a week to fit inside of a Ferrari. So, but
Okay, well, beautiful answer, man, because the point is it's a race car.
yeah,
It's not comfortable. This is not a luxury vehicle.
right.
So, like, why do you want this thing? So, um, here's the point. Jim Rohn gave a great talk decades ago about how to speak to a child, and he said you have to be able to speak the child's language. So, if we can take the time to understand the things that they look up to, the things that they're interested in, and then help them see what is it about this that you really want. Is it the money? Is it the fame? Because you can do that. I didn't know this. You could do this legally. Online business models. You can do it legally. Go to sleep without a single fear in your mind every night. Oh my gosh, it's so freeing. And what most of us want is freedom. And to be able to speak their language and help them realize what they want, that's powerful.
You know what's amazing to me, and little, you know, I mean, a little story behind one of the reasons why you are such an impact in my life is that I made a terrible decision to because it would allow me to drink. I was still allowed to drink. So I made a decision. I'm like going, and the question is okay, I'll accept this offer. Well, can I still drink? Yeah, but we can get you a better offer. I can still drink. I don't care. It
Mhm.
ruined a good portion of my life. Okay. Here is the thing that I think that we need to get across to young individuals. Okay. Think about your most outrageous dream. I mean, just the most outrageous dream. You just said it. Okay. Your Ferrari, all this other thing. Think about it. And now take the first step and start to plan out how you think you could do that in a legal way or just, but here's the way to do it. Be imaginative about it, because you know what? If you're not going to come at this with that personality, if you're going to come at it with a cookie cutter, you're going to be cookie cutter. So put some you into it. You've taken the first step to changing your life and doing something outrageously special. And when I mean special, Ricky and I are both coming from a point where we were both in trouble with the law, with the family, with everything. We were in trouble. Have we got it all figured out? No, and neither one of us will tell you that we've got it all figured out. But we are telling you right now, it can be done.
Mm.
The quicker you do it, the more you get to enjoy life. Okay. You need help, contact us. We'll talk to you. And the one thing that I am going to tell you right now, and I'm pretty sure, Ricky, you'll back me up on this. We're not going to give you how to do it. We're not going to give you the blueprints on how to do it, because that's up to you. Our blueprints to do things are how We do it. How we do it is not always going to work for you. Okay. I tell people all the time, Ricky, that when I talk to individuals with head injuries, I'll never tell them I know what you're going through, because I don't know what they're going through. I've got a head injury. I am vaguely familiar with what has happened with some of the stuff that they're going through, but I will never tell somebody I know what they're going through, because I don't know. My life is different than theirs. My experiences have been different than theirs. So for me to tell you I know exactly what you're going through is naive, stupid. And I shouldn't use that word, but it is. It's stupid. And it makes you untrustworthy. Because if you tell somebody you know exactly what they're going through, they're going to sit there. Look, there's nothing that makes me blow you off quicker than, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. No, you don't. No, you don't. And we can't. That's because we're individual people. You coach people in a variety of different areas, but it's all about health improvement, or it's all about improvement, life improvement. You help. Why don't you give us like a list, rundown on what all you want to coach people on it?
Sure. So I call myself a life quality engineer because at the end of the day, I believe what everyone wants is just a higher quality of life. And um, to do this, what I do is I focus on what I call the 5 dimensions of life quality. And there are more dimensions than this, but I also have a core pillar that says, let's simplify everything. So we've got 5. So that's the physical dimension, the mental dimension, that's mindset, emotions, trauma, things of that nature, the relationship dimension, the financial dimension, and the spiritual dimension. And we don't work on all of them at once. The whole point is that it's holistic and there's always a ripple effect. So as you see the improvements in one, you ultimately see the improvements in the others. And being more progress focused is a great way to break any self sabotage patterns, hard thinking on oneself. Like, I should be here. If we find ourselves shoulding ourselves, we probably need to talk to someone. So there is no shoulding. It's, wow, look how far I've come. And if you stay focused enough on your progress, you won't even believe where you end up. I mean, just like what you're saying, Zach, there is no one set framework or blueprint, but we can help people create their own. And once you create your own and you stay focused on that progress, oh my gosh. I mean, where I'm at today, I would have never guessed 10 years ago. I would have thought you were crazy, mostly because 10 years ago, I thought I'd be dead by now. But it's also far, far better than my dreams ever were. So, um, yeah, that's
I I
long
I
as
I think one of the important messages there are, don't should all over yourself. So,
that's right.
I really, I wanted to say that after you were talking. Ricky, you're part of the community pay it forward program. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to add to that. You have to remember, I think is never going to be as strong as I need.
Mm,
I think I want to quit smoking. That gives you an out.
mm,
Look, I'm going to quit smoking. You have no out. There's no out there. I'm going to do it. I think I want to improve my life. I'm going to improve my life. So, those are just a couple things that, you've little mindsets. Little mindsets can lead to huge improvements.
absolutely.
So, and, you know, sitting pat is not conducive for success either. You know, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, they don't sit still. They change things all the time, all the time. Not always for the best. I mean, but they do. You can find Ricky's page on communitypayitforward.us/Ricky slash or comma Birkenstock. So just go there, and this video is actually going to be on this page later on today. And actually, by the time that people are watching this video, it's already going to be there. So go there now, and you can see the difference. But Ricky, you've also got a landing page that you are about ready to lease, correct?
Yes, sir. So rickybirkenstock.com will be live here in the next week or two. Um, and so if anybody's listening to this at a later point in time when this interview gets run again, it's probably live already. So feel free to give rickybirkenstock.com a search. And you can also find me on LinkedIn, where I'm at currently. So just search my name and you'll see it loud and clear. It says Life Quality Engineer.
And again, all you have to do is go to communitypayitforward.us/Ricky Birkenstock, or up in the search bar, just put in Ricky, and Ricky's going to pop up. Ricky, how do people reach out to you, my brother?
So people can reach out to me at my email, and my email is really simple, ricky.birkenstock@gmail.com. And I can also be reached at LinkedIn. I'd love to give out my phone number, but I teach and recommend having strong boundaries. So that is a boundary we'll cross when we have a personal relationship. So
All right.
right now, LinkedIn, email, please feel free to get in touch with me. I'll get back as soon as I can.
I'm really glad you said that. That means that we need to change something on your landing page on our website. We've got your phone number on there. So I'll get that changed right away. So
Okay, thank you.
But Ricky, on a personal note, man, I love you. Haven't known you for a long time, but I've known you for a great time. I love you. I really do. You've added so much to me personally, outside of business, and you joining with what we do. I see us working together as nothing but good can happen with this. You're a powerful individual. Your story means so much to not just you but other people. I think that your story is there, and it's proof that, you know what, I don't have to live this because my environment told me this is where I live. You, my friend, are inspirational, and I love you, man. I really do. And I thank you for being one of our giving partners. And I look forward to a long relationship. You and I are in cahoots in the good way. And we're going to be putting together a couple things, and we're going to be sharing and trying to help out individuals in probably in a podcast form. And we're going to be doing some stuff together. Hopefully, we're going to be doing some public things, meeting people in public, and really trying to strengthen and supporting youth and just people who want to make a difference. So I really look forward to everything that we're going to be doing together, my brother.
Awesome, Zach. The sentiment is mutual, man. I love you, and the fact that you are so open and willing to talk about your story and what you're doing. I mean, that's why I aligned with you, man. You lead with your heart, and all my life experiences have gone to give me at least one thing, and that's a pretty darn good gauge of character. And I love to align with passionate people, and you, sir, are someone who leads with passion, and that is going to change lives and this community. So thank you for what you do, man.
No, that's not a problem. Once again, you can get a hold of Ricky at ricky.birkenstock@gmail.com, ricky.birkenstock@gmail.com, or you can find him. Is it just Ricky Birkenstock on LinkedIn?
That's my name. That's
All
what you see.
right. That's not Borkin stick or whatever I was joking before we went live, so, but Ricky, again, I love you, man. Welcome to the family. I am so glad to have you as an ally, as a partner, and as a family member. So I am really looking forward to making a difference with you. I think it's something that we're going to be able to do some fantastic things together. So if you want to get a hold of us, if you have any questions, and for anybody out there, if your life is in a difficult situation and you just want to talk to somebody and get not the answers, but maybe just get the questions to somebody that you can trust. This man right here, myself, look, we're just here to help. That's it. So contact Ricky at ricky.birkenstock@gmail.com, or you can always get a hold of me right here at communitypayitforward.us. Ricky, thank you.
Introducing Shop, Click, and Pick, the simplest way to support those doing good. We understand that shopping is a necessity, and with a slight adjustment, you can make a huge difference for those in need. Here's how it works. Visit communitypayitforward.us and navigate to the Find Your Partners tab. Discover our verified giving partners, trusted allies ready to meet your needs. Shop with any partner that resonates with you. Click a picture of your receipt or invoice. Pick a mission partner you wish to support and use their QR code to send a receipt to us. Then all you have to do is sit back and enjoy your purchase, knowing you've made a meaningful change for someone in need. Community Pay It Forward amplifies your business's impact by sharing your story with those who require your services, rallying support for those who need us all. Because no one needs to go it alone when we all come together. Ricky and I still haven't come to how exactly we want to put together a podcast, but we are still talking about it when we aren't crazy busy. His page is up, rickybirkenstock.com. These are some of the updates. Okay. That was late last year that we recorded that. You can tell because my arm was still in a sling. It was kind of weird looking back at that and seeing like all the difference. And the one difference that was made that, I caught, and you probably wouldn't notice this. Oh, by the way, Ricky's email has changed. It is rickybnewdirectionfitness.com, rickybnewdirectionfitness.com. But the one one of the difference I made, other than not a ration of garbage, it's not all garbage, it's actually still over here on my bookshelf, but it's not back there. And the biggest difference, my goldfish is no longer in the tank. Bubbles. But that's because he's in a bigger tank now. He's in a 50-gallon, so he's still kicking it and hanging out and doing the things that he's doing and living a much happier life. One more video for you tonight. Another wonderful introduction. This introduction, this video, I'm going to tell you right now, her program has changed the company in really, really wonderful ways. And it's helping us expand our reach and make connections better than we ever have before. This is Tanya Block-Rousen of Smart Virtual Solutions. Enjoy this, and then I'll let you go for the end of the night. I am, without a doubt, very, very technologically challenged. And things as simple as even emails have always been something that's been very, very frustrating to me. I met Tanya a couple months ago on our networking event, the Colorado networking event. And we had talked a few times, and then we finally got together and she was showing me her program. And I'm going to tell you something right now. It has saved so much time. Tanya Block-Rawson, how are you doing?
I am doing well. Thank you.
You provide a service to people where I was spending, and this is no joke, and I think that this was exactly what I came to you about. I was spending probably 25, 30 hours a week just putting out Facebook posts about partners and stuff like that. And I wanted one thing specifically, to where I could take and schedule a Facebook post to come out the same time, same day every week. Just get it done and over with. And you're like, yeah, okay, that's simple. And I was like, huh. And so that got me excited. And then I started using your email marketing. My email marketing is like waves above where it was before, because your company, Smart Virtual Solutions, focuses on what Google and Gmail and Yahoo and what they are telling people that they need to do to make sure that the emails don't go into the spam boxes
or be completely rejected.
Yeah. What is it about what you guys do that makes your service so much better than the other things that are out there?
So first, I will fully be transparent of the fact that I am a white label reseller of a up and coming product called Go High Level, or they also call it High Level. And so my version of that is Smart Virtual Solution. And so they have developers that are a lot smarter than me that pay attention to all of these little intricate things, like making sure that you can see the granular level of your emails going through, why they're not going through, what was, what wasn't quite right. And High Level itself is an all-in-one marketing platform that is based on CRM, so customer relationship management principles, so that you can keep track of your contacts and be able to communicate with them with emails and or text messages. To do that with text-based or pretty-based, like the ones that you send out, that you can do with things like MailChimp or whatnot. And having those pieces, the reason I got into it is because I was taping my business together. I was using Calendly, I was trying to use HubSpot, I was trying to use MailChimp, and none of that stuff talked to each other and things were being missed. And I wanted to make sure that everything was going all into the same place. And that was the biggest key for me, is I didn't want to be scattered in my tech and my marketing anymore. And this was my solution. And there is a new breaking edge piece of their puzzle coming out literally every day. I am now on developer calls every single day to make sure that I'm staying up to date on all of the new and new changes that they're doing every day.
Well, I'm going to, like I said, your programs, the Go High Level program, Smart Virtual Solutions, has done amazing things. There were people who have been signed up for my email to receive my emails for 2, 3, 4, 5 years who never got one. And now they're getting them, and they're like, we kind of forgot that you even existed. And the cool thing about it is that, they can take and they can reply right back to the email. It comes back to me. Somebody sends me a text message, it comes back to me on the same app, in the same thing. Somebody wants to just send me a quick message, it comes through that. As you saw on there, you guys also have, website building. You have the
calendar links,
calendar links,
automatic communication. Yes,
we're working on moving our job forms over to your program. I mean, everything is customizable, everything. And I think one of the most unique things about what you do, and the best thing about what you do, you have a program where every week, if you have a question, you're there for answers. People can come to you on Tuesday mornings and ask questions and get answers and get the instruction on how to work that. And I think that is so valuable, because there are so many people that, well, let's be honest, you get onto a phone and you can't hardly understand what they're saying, and it's hard to use. What drove you to open such a hands-on, I want to help you company?
I started my corporate career when I was 16, and I started out as an executive assistant, or I was helping executive assistants when I was 16. But, when I got out of college, I went into being an executive assistant. And so I've always been the person helping other people run their business. And I was living in Texas at the time, and life brought me, I was born in Colorado. We moved when I was 7. And when I came back to Colorado, I ended up living in some rural areas, or more than an hour away from some of the city centers where I can make some money. And so I had to go virtual because I didn't want to drive and have that drive, or have the winter drive at the very least.
Yeah.
So I am fundamentally, even when I was a kid, I played Office, and I played school, and I didn't play dolls. I played, Office. So I've always wanted to help people with their business. And I've always been the teacher, the educator, the implementer, the one that could solve the problems and then teach people how that problem was solved. And that's just part of who I am and what my makeup is. I like to think outside the box. I don't want to keep doing things the same way they've always been done. If there might be another solution that's easier, faster, more economical. And I've found that all the way around, this tech has done that. But everything since I started out as a virtual assistant, I don't consider myself a virtual assistant any longer. Oddly, it just kind of tweaks me a little bit when I'm called that. But some people, it's just the world. It's okay. But a lot of people are really they really don't like tech. It scares them. It intimidates them. And I've never been that person. I like getting in and pushing the buttons and seeing what happens, and knowing that I can always hit the undo button or things like that. That I love playing with the tech, and it's kind of it's a puzzle for me that's kind of fun to figure out, and I'm not intimidated by it. Now, there's some tech that I am. If I have to use codes and all that other stuff, I don't do coding too much, but playing with buttons on a website, that never bothers me. That's the fun part.
I think one of the weirdest things is I'm in my mid 50s, and you think about it, and we should be the generation that understands computers, because they started to develop when I was a kid. Okay. I remember playing Oregon Trail on the computer that was about this thick, that, had the keyboard down here and the green screen, and it popped up all the pixelated and everything like that.
Well, and doing papers on DOS on WordPerfect and Lotus 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I was.
Yeah, and we should understand computers better than we do, but it's not us. It's my kids. My kids can whip through a computer in 2 minutes and tell you everything about it. They know everything about it. They still look at me going, "Dad, you're such an idiot." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks." But it's weird to me that people like me exist, that these things are intimidating to me. Now, prior to my motorcycle accident, I had a relationship with computers that they knew, I didn't like them, they didn't like me, and we didn't care who knew it. If there was a computer around, I was going to start screaming at something. All right. Because if I had to use it, I was going to scream at something, because I was going to throw that computer. It didn't care. Now we've come to a workable solution, but it's been made much easier by your program. I will be completely honest with you.
I'm glad to hear that.
What is one of the things that you offer people that you really think that people should be using more than they do?
Um, I think so. I think that most businesses, and especially if you're doing any kind of business online, having that CRM, so that the customer relationship management, so being able to keep track of all of the contacts that you are dealing with, whatever they are. I think that is key, because they always say that the fortune is in your contact list. So having that, and a lot of people don't keep track of that information. Communicating with them on a regular basis. So like you're sending out your newsletters and your emails, and doing that. That's a really important piece that a lot of people don't take the time to do. And you can schedule like the recurring messages or things like that. And I think that a lot of people, they're really overwhelmed by the idea of marketing, because they don't want to get an email every day, or they don't want to bother people about, oh, I don't want to tell them about my business, or don't want to put it out there. So there's a fear thing. And then there's also, I don't want to bother people. And I think that's a really big misnomer about what marketing is. A lot of people do want to hear from us, because like you said, it's people forgot about you if you're not talking to them. So whether you are putting it out on social media on a regular basis, and you're scheduling, I don't care if it's the same post every other week, and you're having those recurring messages go out, have something go out, something, and have it recurring. Same thing with emails or text messages or things like that. Being able to communicate with people, that's paramount to being able to run your business.
I'm going to tell you something that that your CRM did for me, and I was able to do a small something that, according to the email back, meant a lot. I got a notice back from one of the emails that said, "I am sorry, I am currently out of the office due to a family tragedy." And it was a canned email. I knew it was a canned email, but I was able to take in and read that and say, hey, check back with this person in a week and a half, make sure everything's okay. And when I reached back out to her, she said, this is awesome that you did this, and I appreciate it. And I was like, well, I mean, it's not tough to do when you're reminded of it, that there is
Yeah.
somebody out there that may need something from you, or one of your partners, and maybe there's something that we can do just to help her through a tough time. And she ended up losing her mom, and it was very sad. And so it's one of those things that I put out there, and I asked her, is there anything that we can do for checking with the people who cared enough to allow me to send them this information. I think it really puts a special thought in their mind that you're actually paying attention to what's going on too, and it's a great way to make sure that they understand that you are doing business, but this is not a canned response. This is something that's coming out, and you're paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. My husband and I have both had some medical things this year that neither one of us were expecting. He had heart attacks in January, and I had my gallbladder basically go out on me in March. And after my husband's stuff in January, he's fine, by the way. I kind of did a little bit of a shift in my business. Now, this program will work for anybody, for real estate, for contractors, for the roofers, for the massage therapists, for anybody, because it can be customized for what each industry needs, and what for nonprofits, it can work for anybody. But one of the things what they tell you in marketing is to kind of niche down, to narrow down your audience. And I wanted to help more people like my husband and I, or people that are in our situation. So one, helping the people like me trying to run a business and take care of my husband while we go to appointments, and while we were out, and while we were at the hospital for the week. So I wanted to help the caregivers, basically. But I also want to help the other side of it with the health and wellness professionals that are trying to help my husband and I get better. So it's not, and so I'm still working with everybody, but I like that little bit of a narrow niche, especially the caregivers, because I know what it's like. This is, dealing with my husband's stuff. This is the fourth time I've gone through the caregiving process. And one of the things in both times I should have realized, and I didn't realize it until later, was I should set up a list in my app so that when something happens like this, I can notify the important people in my family really easily, because we have the kids and the grandkids and the sisters and brothers and, whoever else. So I can send a group email or a group message, and it goes to people singularly, so that they're not getting all those group responses that we do through text message. I don't have to deal with that. Or the people that are using just Messenger or whatever else, it got really complicated to try to keep people in the loop. And I could have used my own system to do it for me. So it's kind of thinking things through like that, to be able to, you can communicate with anyone for any number of reasons. And that's why having a system like this, and you can do a lot of it literally, there's an app for your phone, so you can have access to your contacts, your emails, your conversations of wherever it's coming from. And you can, if you're scheduling through the system with the scheduling links, like a Calendly type thing, the system has that process. You can respond to people saying, hey, I've had an emergency pop up, I need to reschedule. And those links are really easy to send to people. Can you just click this link and figure out a time next week or whatever? And that automation makes life so much easier. And the piece of the automation that I like is that you can customize it to the point of making it specific for what you need, for what your business needs, for your language, your tone, the things that you need to talk about in your messages. It's about you and what you need to tell your contacts, your leads, your clients. And it's not just the canned messages. You can make it anything you want.
Is there a financial a gateway to where you can collect money in your program?
Absolutely. In fact, one of the things I was going to let you know is this: if you have at some point, maybe you want to do like either like an auction, or something's happening that one of your families really needs some extra help, and maybe you want to solicit some extra donations, a form can be set up in the system really easily with a kind of like a payment gateway, and you can actually let people choose what amount they want to donate. So it can be a donation of, and you can give suggested amounts like 5, 10, 20, 100,
Yeah.
or they can enter their own, and it's just on a form, and people can start sending donations into you for your stuff from that really simply. So it's connected to Stripe. It's connected to PayPal. We're going to be, the developers announced yesterday that they're going to do a Square integration here in the next probably quarter. It's connected to 2 other payment authorization apps, but you can collect payments mainly through Stripe is how I do it. But so it connects with Google Pay and Apple Pay and all the things. So there's invoicing and subscriptions and all kinds of different things that you can do with payments through the system.
Explain the wallet to people, that you have a wallet that you can put in there, that the money just comes out of there from that.
Yeah, so the system has a monthly subscription. For my system, it's like $99 a month, and you get the full system. Then you can get more of my time by spending more each month. Different people do different things with a high level. You can buy just specific services or things like that with other providers. I'd rather just give you the whole thing, and then pay for the extra hand holding, I guess, or the extra tech help. But one of the things that people like HubSpot or MailChimp or, some of these other companies that are more well-known, if you get a certain number of contacts, then they're going to start charging you more. Or like with MailChimp, you get the free email until you get to a certain number of contacts, and then they're going to really start charging you. So what High Level does is you can have as many contacts as you want. You can send, as much as you want. You can do all that stuff. It's not going to go up, but you actually do have to pay to use. So you pay to send the text messages, you pay to send the emails, so you can choose what what your threshold is, how many you want to send out. To send an email is less than pennies. So you can get about 10,000 emails for $10. So you know what you're spending generally each month. You can get about 1,000 text messages. My number may be a little bit off, but roughly about 1,000 text messages for about $10. There's also AI capabilities within the system as well. There's ways that the AI can help you create images. It's in the system. It can help you write your emails or your funnel landing web pages, your social media posts. It has AI. It has Chat GPT built into the system to help you come up with ideas, and it has the image generators and things like that. You can also do one of the things that I was showing you the other day was the system connects with your Google business profile. So you can start sending people review requests through the system. And then when someone leaves you a review, there's an automatic AI that will respond to that review for you. So you don't have to do that. So with this new move with AI, there's that. So the wallet is basically, going back to the question, you put in that you have, $10. Then those communication charges or using the AI charges comes out of that. And then you get to a threshold, say you're down to your last dollar, the system will automatically charge you to get you back to that $10. So it's a pay as you use kind of system.
Yeah. One of the things that that you were just mentioning reminded me of this. You guys are very, very up to date. The programmers and everything that you guys work with are very up to date on compliance with the text messaging, as we mentioned, the emails and everything else. And so there are a lot of steps to get this set up, but it's a lot more secure, and you're able to do a lot more with customers, making sure that they see this, because there's extra time and extra work being put into this, right?
Yes, absolutely. So the last year, the cellular companies got together, came up with their own regulatory commission to make sure that there's not as much spam going across their lines. So there is a new compliance feature that you have to become registered with their regulatory committee, and so that you can send text messages back and forth, especially marketing messages. The same thing with emails. You have to have a specific, if you're going to be doing business and sending emails from a business system, then you have to have be compliant in a lot of different ways, have some very specific codes set up where you bought your domain to make sure that you can send those emails, because they don't want spam any longer either. They really want to start cracking down on all of that. And so that went into effect in February. They started it April. It really took a big hit. So that's a big piece. They want you to have privacy policies and terms and services and terms and conditions. And there's a new piece now about the privacy laws in Europe has GDPR. Well, we still have to be compliant with some of that as well. If there's going to be someone from London looking at our website for any reason, we still have to be somewhat compliant. So you're seeing a lot of websites have these cookie notifications. So we have that built into the system so that we can really easily, show that, yes, we have that tracking. We connect with Google Analytics so that you can see what's going on with who's visiting your site, any of your pages, and any of that stuff. And so that we can have all of those pieces in place.
I just seriously, I kicked myself for not talking to you earlier, because I know that, I imagine, but if I would have made the move 6 months earlier, I imagine how much better off I would be right now. But I do appreciate everything that you do personally, and to support what we do. You are also now, you have joined the family, so you are now part of the Community Pay It Forward Giving family. What are some of the causes out there that you love to support?
I love anything, quite honestly, veterans and animals. My husband is an Army veteran. I'm not that much younger than you, quite honestly. I am in my late 40s. My husband is quite a bit older than I am, and he went into the Army during Vietnam. Luckily, and I still thank my lucky stars and his lucky stars. Instead of sending him to Vietnam, they sent him to Germany.
Yep.
So my husband is a veteran. His father before him was a veteran. My other grandfather was as well. So and my best friend, her husband is a retired Navy officer. He was in submarines. So veterans is definitely a big one for us. And then I've had pets most of my life. I have 2 now, and helping animals is kind of a big thing. I hate that there's so many dogs in shelters, that so many pets get abused just by people being weird or being people. I don't know, but those are the kind of videos I can't watch. I got to get away from them. But yeah, those are the types of things that I tend to go towards a little bit more.
Yeah, as you well know, I've got a couple dogs myself. I've got a couple pets that think that they usually have to be part of everything that we do, so but I go a little bit weirder. I've got a 27-year-old tarantula
Okay.
along with
my husband won't let me
fish
kill the spiders. Yeah.
yeah. So ironically, my father, 1971, he was in Berlin. I spent the first 3 years of my life in Berlin at the very end of Vietnam. So
Wow.
yeah. So my dad was with your husband in Germany instead of Vietnam. Thank God. All respect to everyone who
Yeah.
served anywhere.
Absolutely.
So, but Tanya, how did they get a hold of you?
So my website is been on the screen. It's smartvirtualsolution.com, or you can email me at Tanya@smartvirtualsolution.com. He does have my text number. That does go directly into my system. So that's the cool thing. And so that when you do text me, it saves in my system. I have a contact that saves the all of our communication save. So that's one of those really cool things about the system, is it has that. One of the things that they really love, that High Level really loves to talk about, and this works really well for the people that work with their hands a lot. So whether it's that hairdresser or the roofer, the plumber, the house cleaner, whatever it is, there's this thing called a missed call text back. Is that if you use this phone number like we have in mind and you call me, then you can someone calls your line that you have connected with the system, then you can't answer it. It knows that there's a real person on the other side. It will automatically send that person a text message to say, hey, I am sorry. I am up to my elbows in goo. What can I help you with? And let's try to, I'll get with you. I'll get right back with you in a few minutes when my hands are dry, or whatever it is. It's like if they're talking to a plumber or something like that. And that's the biggest thing that most people complain about when they're looking for a service provider, is they're going down this list and they're just looking for someone to answer the phone.
Yeah.
So if you find, if you can get back to them right away, then, oh my God, how much more money can you make just by having that?
It's fantastic. I mean, it really is. And again, don't be like me and wait for 6 months before you call and find out. Because like I said, you as a business owner, and especially a solopreneur, you've got your head so wrapped up in what you're doing in a day. If you can take a look at this program and see how much easier it can make some of those things. There's been a couple times in the last 3 weeks that I've kind of sat here and went, wow, I have to find something to do. I'm not used to that. There was always, oh my God, I've got to get this done. And it felt like I was doing it over and over and over again because I was. And now I've got the freedom, and it's really helping me be a hell of a lot more productive, a hell of a lot better responsive. The being able to be responsive, like you said, I think that is one of the most important things that we've got going.
Yeah. And I love that the email is working so well for you, because, you know, the MailChimps, the MailerLites, the Constant Contacts, they actually try to hide the fact that they're not getting those emails delivered. They're not telling you that they're going into spam. They don't care to tell you that stuff. They don't want to tell you because they want to keep you using that service. So they'll tell you that, you know, the open rates or whatever else, but at least with my system, and you're seeing it firsthand,
Yeah.
you know, literally down to the granular level, which emails, whose email is going through, whose email is not going through, it's not being delivered, who is opening it, who is not opening it. And you can actually see very specific reports that this email address got through, they clicked my link, and you can see all of those very specific things.
Yeah, you know, we just went through before we started recording, and I had some that they weren't able to send, and I was able to go back, and I was looking at them, and one of the emails I recognized, and I realized why it didn't go through, and it was my mom's old email address, and my mom doesn't really check her new emails either, but I mean, this is an email address that's no longer in service.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple other friends on there that I know that they no longer work for those companies. So it helps you to refresh and catch up with people. And again, this is just something that it is so nice that you're able to sit there and you're able to reconnect with so many people that maybe you've lost track of. Even worse, they've lost track of you. So again, Tanya at smartvirtualsolutions.com, reach out to her, you know, schedule an appointment, because I am telling you right now, and you can do that at smartvirtualsolutions.com. Go and check it out, schedule your appointment. You will be shocked on, one, how easy this is to use, two, how well and how easy it is to work with Tanya.
Thank you.
You know, because that is so important to have somebody that can be there and literally hold your hand and work through it with you. And I'm one of those guys that I need that. And she's been very, very helpful with that. So, Tanya, thank you and welcome to the family again.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to continue this partnership, and we get to help people in business and help people in need. And I appreciate you joining with us.
Thank you so much, Zach. And I look forward to meeting more of the family.
All right. Thank you.
Show me the way.
Every once in a while, and
You wanna
it happens
hold
with
the
me
heart.
quite often, you come across
Sunset Boulevard. Bring me here, 'cause it's not quite clear to be apart. Sunset Boulevard.